The NASCAR Cup Series heads to New Hampshire, and we see another driver shake up the playoff grid with getting their first win of the 2022 season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Better 301. We're going to go on and talk about everything, including results, the race itself, and then give you my ranking of the race at the end. So, no one actually had to drop to the rear before the green flag. However, the race actually got delayed a little bit before the green flag drop due to a little bit of a pop-up shower and a lightning hole. The race would basically be scheduled about an hour later. They would start the race about an hour after, but they would get going, and we would not have another issue with tinted windows in this race. So at the start of the race, you have Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Chase Elliott on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. was able to get the race lead and actually started to pull away. The first caution race to come out on lap 5, and it was for a major incident. Ty Dillon and Justin Haley were battling, I believe, around 30th position in the race. Ty Dillon got to the inside of Justin Haley. Justin Haley came down. Then Ty Dillon overcorrected and collected Alex Bowman, Josh Blicky, and BJ McLeod. All of them, unfortunately, falling out of the race with damage in the race. It was just an unfortunate incident, and Alex Bowman was not happy on the radio. Then, basically, we had a couple guys come down pit road, Austin and Cody Ware, and the rest of the field stayed out. So on the restart, Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Bubba Wallace on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. was able to get the race lead and took the lead. And basically, it would be dominated with Mark Truex Jr. holding up, basically pulling out a pretty big lead and winning stage number 1. So then all the lap cars would come down pit road to get 4 tires, and Mark Truex Jr. winning the race off pit road. Kevin Harvick, who is really charging for the field time, I believe got 4th at the end of stage number 1. He got 2nd off pit road. Denny Hamlin would have a really bad pit stop and had very big issues on pit road and drop a ton of positions. So on the restart, Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Kevin Harvick on the inside, and MTJ got a great restart and took the lead. Then we basically see Kyle Busch spin from 18th position, I believe, off of turn number 4, just spun on his own on turn number 2, bringing out the caution. Just got loose off the corner, spun off of turn 2. This would not be the last time he would have issues in this race. So on the restart, you would have Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Kyle Larson on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. was able to basically get the race lead. Then a few laps later, there'd be another caution in this race for a multi-car incident where basically Corey LaJoie complained about, I think something in the rear wheels or something basically locking up, and he basically overcorrected at the top of the track and collected Harrison Burton and Michael McDowell, bringing out the caution in this race. Then we had a little bit of strategy in this caution where Joey Logano, Austin, or Chris Buescher all decided to stay out while the rest leaders came down pit road. Mark Truex Jr. took fuel only, and basically most of the other guys took fuel only, while some guys took 2 and 4 tires. So then Chase Elliott had to come back down pit road with a loose right side wheels and had to basically change the left wheels because of this. So on the restart, you have Joey Logano lead the field from the outside with Chris Buescher on the inside, and Joey Logano got the race lead. Then Joey Logano pulled away a little bit, but eventually Mark Truex Jr. got around him and took the race lead. People thought there was going to be drama between Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin, but nothing really happened between them. And then we would stay green for a long time with Mark Truex Jr. having to lead with Kevin Harvick trying to close. And then Ryan Blaney would bring out the next caution race by halfway through the race. Ryan Blaney just got loose in turn number 4, bringing out the caution in the race. And then we can see all lead lap cars come down pit road. Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin had some issues basically off of pit road, but then Mark Truex Jr. win the race off pit road. So on the restart, Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Daniel Suarez on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. got the lead. On that same lap, there was a little bit of trouble for Chase Briscoe, who spun, I believe, in turn number 2, bringing out the caution, and then Eric Almirola would have some mechanical problems as well. He complained about some shifting issues, and unfortunately, he would fall out of this race because of that. So on the restart, you have Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Kevin Harvick on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. is able to get the race lead and lead a few laps. And then, once again, Kyle Busch would bring out another caution race where he was trying to recover to the field. He was spin from 13th position, bringing out the caution. And then meanwhile, during the caution of the race, there were tempers flaring between Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski, which I really don't know what that was all about. It seemed like Keselowski said he tried to wreck him down the backstretch. I have no understanding what was going on there. That was one of the wackiest incidents. Austin Dillon basically turned to the right, and Brad was not happy with him. That was really weird. I have no idea what happened there. That might be a story to talk about later this week. So then on the restart, you have Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside with Joey Logano on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. got the race lead. All of a sudden, though, Kevin Harvick really started closing in on Mark Truex Jr. near the end of stage 2 and got within about 5 or 6 tenths, was making up a tenth or 2 on every single lap, but Mark Truex Jr. held off a hard charging Kevin Harvick to win stage number 2. And then we saw a little bit of strategy in this race where guys like Harrison Burton, Chase Briscoe, and Kyle Busch stayed off. We basically see Mark Tricksinger win the race off pit road, and on that pit stop, Austin had to back up on pit road after losing a wheel. It's unclear if he's going to get his crew chief, Jeremy Bones, will get a 4-race suspension or not. That's one thing to watch. So on the restart, you have Harrison Burton lead the field from the outside with Chase Briscoe on the inside. Burton got a decent restart, but Chase Briscoe got to the race lead. Meanwhile, we see Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain basically have a little bit of contact on the backstretch. Nothing would really, Denny bumping back into him because of past issues. And then a few laps later, Mark Tricksinger got the race lead and started pulling away. However, a few laps later, Todd Gilliland would spin in turn number 4, bringing out the caution of this race. And I believe this would be the final caution of this race as well. And then we saw a little bit of strategy where guys like Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, and Cole Custer would all basically stay out while the rest leaders came down to pit road. Kevin Harvick had some issues on pit road. He would basically hit Austin Dillon on the pit road, leaving his box and got into Austin Dillon. Harrison Burton would then get equipment interference. Kyle Larson took fuel only, while the rest leaders took 2 and most other drivers took 4. And then at this point, you're thinking about it, can they make it to the end? These guys, and more like it can. These guys that stayed out there hoping for a caution. So on the restart, Kurt Busch lead the field from the outside with Joey Logano on the inside, and we saw Kurt Busch able to get the lead from Logano. At this point, Chase Elliott was driving for the field. Mark Tricksinger and Kevin Harvick really had trouble getting going on the restart, and then there was a really awesome battle going on for basically the race lead up in second and third. Logano and Elliott had some contact. Elliott then eventually got around Joey Logano, and Christopher got around him as well. And then Chase Elliott and Kurt Busch, they would have contact for the lead, and then Chase Elliott would get the race lead from Kurt Busch. And then they basically come down to a last battle near the end between Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell. They had a little bit of contact battle for the lead. They were side by side for a little bit, but eventually Christopher Bell got around Chase Elliott and took the race lead from Elliott. Elliott hang on for a lap, and then Christopher Bell got around and got to the lead. Then we see all the guys that basically stay out long term. Kurt Busch actually came a little bit earlier than normal because he thought maybe there'd be a caution that came out and basically could drive back through. And then eventually those guys got there. But at this point in time, we're thinking, will a caution come out here late in this race? And will there be issues? Well, that caution did not come out. Christopher Bell pulled out to a massive lead, and coming off the final corner after really looking for his first win of 2022 at a really good track, he's ran in the Xfinity Series and nearly winning last year. Christopher Bell gets redemption and comes off the corner and picks up his first victory of the 2022 season and becomes the 14th different driver to lock their way into the playoffs. And Christopher Bell had the best car most of the day? No. But Christopher Bell got there in the right position at the right time, had a really good car near the end. I think it was better than Chase Elliott, had the fastest car near the end of the race. Jogas Racing brought a lot of awesome equipment today, and Christopher Bell picks up an amazing victory. You know, coming in this race, he was going to be really a big threat to win, so massive congratulations to Christopher Bell. And with Christopher Bell winning this race, he also becomes a 14 driver lock in. Of course, pending post-race inspection. This also means now there's only 2 spots left in the playoff cutoff line at the moment, and anyone that's below the cutoff line right now is more than likely going to need to win if they've not won, unless Truex or Ryan Blaney have some major issues. So, massive congratulations to Christopher Bell. Well-deserved, and great to see that Christopher Bell picked up the victory. So now, let's go through the results of this race and give you my thoughts and score on today's race. So Christopher Bell picks up the victory. Chase Elliott finished the second. Chase Elliott's definitely, in my opinion, become the championship favorite. He has finished no worse than second in the last 4 or 5 races since we've come back from the break. He has looked really incredible these last few weeks, and I was kind of concerned considering Chase Elliott's not been really good at these flat tracks. I didn't know if he was going to run well or not. He's got a ton of momentum going right now. He's definitely the championship favorite in my eyes. Massive, great run for Chase Elliott. Ran top 5 a lot of day. Great bounce back for the loose wheel as well. He finishes in second. How about Bubba Wallace finishing third? Bubba Wallace deserved that third place finish. This team has struggled all year long this year. So to see them run top 5 and top 10 pretty much all day long, there were some times where they've fallen back on pit stops, but they never really had major issues on pit road, and kept them up there all day long, and gets a really well-deserved third-place finish. Had his best run he's had pretty much all year long. Gets a great finish. Gets, I believe, only his second or third top 5 of the year. So an amazing run. Maybe they need to run DraftKings more, because I think the DraftKings, it seems like, is a really good thing to have on. So great run from Bubba Wallace in third position. Amazing run today for the 23 team. Mark Tricksinger finishes 4th. I have no idea what happened to Mark Tricksiner's car. His car just kind of fell off. I think that getting behind on traffic and also basically taking 2 tires cost them the overall shot at the victory. They had the best car most of the day. In fact, probably to the first 220 laps, they had the best car. It's a shame they couldn't get back to the field to win, but they get an amazing top 5 finish. Hopefully they can start pulling away on the cutoff line. Kevin Harvick finishes 5th. Kevin Harvick had a top 2 or top 3 car most of the day. He's still got a really solid top 5 and is having a really good year despite being low. The cutoff line right now, he's had a good year. It's just a shame how the point system is, but he did a very strong top 5. At points, he's better than Martin Truex Jr., gets a really good top 5 finish. Denny Hamlin, nice recovery for Denny Hamlin. I'm going to say this, Denny Hamlin's been performing a lot better recently. He had a quiet but really good day today, too, despite having multiple issues on pit road. Gets a really strong 6th place finish. Denny Hamlin slowly but surely trying to get back in contention to make the playoffs. Good run from Denny Hamlin in 6th. How about Brad Keselowski finishing 7th? I know Keselowski had some issues with Austin Dillon, but gets a really well-deserved top 10. Had a top 10 car most of the day. It seems like Keselowski and his 6 team are really starting to finally click and gel. They've been struggling a lot this year, so to see him get a really strong top 10 finish, you love to see it. He finishes in 7th. Ross Chastain finishes 8th. I'll admit this, I thought Chastain was going to be a little bit better today. They did improve on Chastain's car very slightly, but they weren't a winning contender today like I thought they were going to be, but they still get a very solid top 10 finish in 8th, and they continue their consistency. Daniel Suarez finishes 9th. How about Daniel Suarez getting a decent top 10 finish? Considering at one point they were rallying for basically staying on the lead lap at one point, and we're back as far as 22nd and 23rd. For them to get a top 10 is really good to see. He finishes 9th. And Kurt Busch, who basically had to pit near the end of the race, he bounced back to get a top 10 finish. Good to see both 2311 cars finishing the top 10. Kurt Busch had a top 5 car most of the day, so great to see Kurt Busch contend and get a top 10 finish. William Byron finished 11th. I know William Byron basically won the Slinger Nationals, so a lot of people thought maybe that he was going to be a contender. He had good speed in practice. I have no idea what happened to their car, but the car completely fell off, but they still got a decent day in 11th. 11th place finish. Hopefully they can build some momentum on from this. Kyle Busch finishes 12th, despite the fact that Kyle Busch basically struggled most of the day and spun out multiple times and had multiple issues, and their car was not great today. They had a decent day. Only their second top 20 finish last 4 or 5 weeks. They need to get some better momentum going, but they get a very decent top 15 finish in 12th. Decent run for Kyle Busch. Austin Cindric with a decent run in 13th. Not a great day. They're running a lot of this race outside the top 15, so decent day in 13th for him. Kyle Larson finished 14th. I have no idea what they were thinking by taking fuel only. That cost them this race because Kyle Larson had a top 3 or top 4 car most of this day. It's a shame that Larson couldn't have finished better. I know he's not been great in New Hampshire, but man, it was just been so cool to see Larson have a good day. He finishes 14th, which is unfortunate. Chase Briscoe finishes in 15th. AJ Allmendinger finishes 16th, ran top 20 most of the day, so good to see Kyle slowly but surely improving. Chris Buescher finished at 17th. Brian Blaney, who spun out, recovered to a decent 18th place finish. Eric Jones finishes in 19th. Jess Haley finishes in 20th. 21st for Tyler Reddick, who announced a massive announcement this past week. Reddick really struggled today, which is surprising. Maybe there's some sabotage going on. I don't know at this point, but he finishes 21st. Ray Stenhouse Jr. finishes in 22nd. Austin Dillon, who struggled a lot of the day, finishes in 23rd. Joe Logano had to pit near the end of the race. He finishes 24th. Ran around 10th to 15th most of the day. Was never really a contender to begin with, but he finishes 24th. Todd Gillen has spun out once or twice. He finishes 25th. Harrison Burton finishes in 26th. Cole Custer, who was up front in top 5 near the end, finishes 27th. Michael McDowell is probably one of his worst performances as of recently, and I thought he'd do better today. He finishes in 28th. J.J. Lee finishes 29th. Cody Ware finishes 30th. Eric Almirola, who had electrical issues, he finishes in 31st. Corey LaJoie, after getting involved in the wreck early, finishes 32nd. Ty Dillon finishes 33rd. Josh Williams finishes 34th. 35th for Alex Bowman. And finishing last in 36th place is B.J. McLeod. So overall, let me talk about my thoughts on today's race and give you my score of today's race. Honestly, I thought the beginning of this race is kind of a little bit boring. I think in the beginning it was a little bit boring because there really wasn't a lot going on, and Martin Truex Jr. dominated. However, as this race progressed on, I thought this race started getting better and better. This felt very similar to Dover, where the race at the beginning of Dover wasn't that swell, but it got better as the race progressed. I felt like this, yes, I know the ending was a little bit anticlimactic because Cristobal pretty much pulled out to a massive lead near the end. But I thought the race was really interesting because you thought, hey, can these guys make it on gas? Can these guys have enough gas to make? Because they haven't really had this tank before, and at fuel mileage really come to play on this gas tank before on these next-gen cars. They really haven't played as big of a factor as they have in previous years. So I thought, and there also was a lot of good side-by-side racing, especially for the lead and stuff. My score of today's New Hampshire race, I'm giving this race a 9 out of 10. Like I said, I thought the race could have been a little bit better, especially for this race, and it wasn't as good as last year's race in New Hampshire, but last year's race is really incredible. I thought this race is good, and it's awesome to see a guy that has not won this year pick up a victory as well. 9 out of 10 is my score for today's race at New Hampshire. So, anyway, that is today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from New Hampshire from the Ambetter 301. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on page while list goes below that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Christopher on picking up his first victory of the 2022 season. Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we should have a NASCAR news video recapping some of the NASCAR news stories over the last couple days and from the weekend as well. And then Tuesday, we're going to have race picks. And then Wednesday, we're also going to be doing that report on the Chicago Street Course because that announcement is coming this Tuesday. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.